In this section, we're going to be talking about unbiased versus biased data and why is it important. So say you're conducting a study and you want to know what middle schoolers' favorite sport is. Well, you wouldn't go just to the soccer team and ask the soccer team what their favorite sport was because they would probably answer soccer. So that would be unbiased because you're not getting a representative sample. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And first we need to know some keywords. So our first keyword is population. So what is population? It is an entire group of objects or people. Okay, so an entire group of objects or people. And an example would be the residents in Texas. Okay, now what is a sample? A sample is a part of that population. So an example would be the residents in Fort Worth. Okay, your goal when conducting an experiment is to always get unbiased data. And you want to get an unbiased sample. And how do you do that? Well, you're going to look at three things. The first things that you need to look at is it representative of the entire population? Or the larger population. You can't do entire population, but of the larger population. You want a big sample. That's what you're saying there. The second thing is it selected at random? And the third thing you look at when you're looking at unbiased sampling, is it large enough to provide accurate data? Okay, so if that's unbiased sampling, what would be biased sampling? Biased sampling, let me move it up. Biased sampling is a sample that's not representative of the larger population. And it favors certain parts. Okay, so we're going to look at some examples and determine whether it's biased or unbiased, but we're keeping in the three main things. What are we looking for? We're looking for, one, is it representative of the larger population? Two, is it selected at random? And three, is it large enough to provide data for the sample that we're looking for? Okay, so to estimate the number of students in your school who play a sport outside of school, you decide to survey the players on the boys' baseball team. Okay, this would be biased. Why would it be biased? Because you're surveying the boys on the baseball team. So kind of like the soccer example that I started with, they're probably going to favor baseball. So you wouldn't do that. So they're definitely more likely to play a sport outside of school if they're already involved in baseball. So you would want to look at clubs. You would want to look at all these other populations that are representative of the students in your school. Okay, Katie would like to approximate the number of students in her school that own a pet. She decides to survey 5 students in her homeroom. Okay, well, is it large enough? No, 5 students is not enough. So it is biased because it is not a large sample. Okay. Number 3, the yearbook committee must choose among 3 different themes for this year's yearbook. To help make their decision, they survey 100 random students during lunch. This would be an example of unbiased data. Why would it be unbiased? Well, if we look at the three things, is it representative of the larger population? Yes, it's a school. They're choosing three themes for this year's yearbook. So we're looking at everybody coming in at lunch. Everybody has to go to the lunchroom. So that is representative of the larger population. It's selected at random because everybody has to eat lunch. And it is large enough to provide accurate data because there's 100. 100 is a good sample size. So that is large enough. So that is unbiased data. All right. The New England Patriots and the Atlanta Falcons played in the 51st Super Bowl. To determine which team was a favorite to win, a New York City newspaper surveyed 500 residents. Well, they're playing Atlanta and New York, and you're in New York looking at the residents. Chances are they probably favor New England. So this is going to be biased. So it's biased, and it targets a certain area. Which is New York. Okay? All right, let's look at the next page. All right, so when we are predicting outcomes, so the results of an unbiased sample are proportional to the results of a population. We can use unbiased sample results to make predictions about the population. And biased sample results should not be used to make predictions about the population. If it's biased, it's not going to be a good study because it's not going to be representative of the entire population. So we only want to make predictions on unbiased sampling. That's why the sampling is so important, because that's your starting point. You've got to get good data before you can go on to the study. So look at number 5. It says members of the marching band plan to sell cookie dough to raise money for new uniforms. They survey 60 students at random to determine their favorite type of cookie. The results are shown in the table below. So, what percentage of the students prefer sugar cookies? So this is just a simple proportion. 18 out of the total number is 60. And so, I left my calculator. That reduces to 3/10, which is 30%. So 30% of the students prefer sugar cookies. What percentage of the students prefer chocolate chip or peanut butter? So chocolate chip or peanut butter, that's 33 out of 60. Okay, which is 11/10, which is 55% of the population. Okay, so now, if the band orders, so this is based on their sample size. So now we're looking to find out how many tubs, if they order 500 tubs of cookie dough, how many tubs of sugar cookie dough should they order? Well, the sugar cookie, it was 3/10 of the population. So 18 out of 60 preferred it in their sample. So if there's 500, how many tubs would we need? So we're going to cross multiply. And then 18 times 5. 9,000. So 900 divided by 6 is going to be 150 tubs. So that's how we are going beyond, when we have a good sample, how we can predict future results. All right, 75 random 8th grade students were surveyed to see how many text messages they send each day. Ooh, this is good. Now it would be Snap. The results are shown in the table below. Okay, so what percentage of the students send 51 to 75 text messages each day? So 25 out of our total number, and our total number here is 75. 75 random students, so this would be 1/3. So 33% of the students send 51 to 75 messages each day. All right, what percentage of the students send no more than 50 text messages? So no more than 50 text messages would be these guys. So 18 out of 75, and 18 out of 75 is 6 over 25, which percentage is 24%. Okay? Now, if there are 450 total students in the 8th grade, how many would you expect to send at least 76 messages a day? Okay, so 32 out of 75 students is what is happening with these 75. So if I wanted to predict, I would say, I would set that equal to how many students would, out of 450 total students, and I would just cross multiply. 35x, and then 32 times 450 would be 14,400 divided by 75. And so I would expect 192 students to send an